If Republicans are so eager to get all of this done, why can't they be on the same page when it comes to scheduling?
Well, I do think you're going to see a lot of urgency from Mitch McConnell here in the Senate to get something done before December 12th. That's when Roy Moore could be heading to the Senate from Alabama. Roy Moore has a very different view of taxes, wants to get rid of the income tax entirely. He's not necessarily a reliable vote. So there's sort of this artificial deadline now of December 12th in the hallways here. They want to get something done as soon as possible. But, you know, once you start rolling out the details, particularly who's going to have to pay the bill for this, who's going to face higher taxes, lose their deductions, etc., they've kept a lot of that sort of pain in the bill. We've heard about the state and local tax deduction. That's gotten a lot of attention. There's going to be a lot of other people who are going to have to pay more money. They've kept that sort of in the shadows, and they're trying to get this budget resolution done. Then they go to the committees with a more formed bill, and that's when you could see the sort of the trouble and the knives come out from the various interest groups that don't want to have to pay higher taxes, and that you're going to start seeing, we've already been reporting on, we're starting to see some difficulty from some corporations like Microsoft that have managed to have a lot of their profits overseas. They don't want to have to suddenly have a new tax structure that means their tax bill's going up. So that's something to watch in the next few weeks.
And of course, we also got a CBS poll showing how people feel about the tax reform. 58% of those respondents feel that it favors the wealthy. Only 18% feel that it favors the middle class. Kevin, of course, we got the Council of Economic Advisors touting this tax reform plan, saying that it will increase household income by at least $4,000 a year. But there are several caveats there. It will take several years as well, not to mention that it could, the repatriation of funds from multinationals could actually help shareholders' dividends, not necessarily household income. So what are people feeling about this tax reform, and how is the White House trying to sell this?
Well, I think that the White House is trying to push back against the notion that that this would favor the wealthy. I think that's why you've seen the president also making slight tweaks to his political strategy in terms of the audience that he's trying to reach. I think there's an admission of sorts that he needs to be talking to outside groups that do a lot of the policy wonk conversation behind the scenes deal making here in Washington. That's why we saw him the other week speaking to the National Association of Manufacturers. It's also why tomorrow night he'll speak at a forum hosted by the conservative Heritage Foundation here in Washington. Now, last week we also saw him giving a speech in Harrisburg trying to drum up some grassroots support, but there's no question that this president is all in on tax reform.